Alright guys, the moment we've all been waiting for is finally here. The Dawnless Days campaign is well into development and the mod team have kindly given me the opportunity to play the Dwarven kingdom of Erebor, their currently most complete faction in the mod so far. Today, I'll be going through as much of the current state of the campaign as I can, as I'm allowed to of course, the campaign map, the various new mechanics that will be present for every faction, as well as specifically new mechanics for Erebor, and much more. Without any delay, let's dive straight in. The Dawnless Days campaign is 12 turns per year, so prepare yourself for lots of seasonal effects. It takes place 2 years before the start of the War of the Ring, so you'll have roughly 24 turns before things start kicking off, and the first release of the campaign will have 28 factions in total, 9 of which will be playable. With subsequent updates, those numbers will go up, and of course with the support of submods, I imagine there will be even more, but still, for an initial release, I am very excited to check out the 9 factions, Gondor, Rohan, Mordor, Easterlings. It's going to be amazing. There will also be multiplayer functionality, so you will be able to play a head-to-head and co-op campaign online with your friend, which is just so cool, and the release will come with port and naval battles. Each faction will have unique scripts, events, and mechanics, and everything you see here today is roughly a year's worth of work, which, to be completely honest, is just mind-boggling. It's so impressive because there is a lot here. Now, it is quite fair to say that to manage expectations here, of course, the Dawnless Days campaign is still a ways off to completion, but physically, everything is basically here, as far as Erebor is concerned at least. The campaign map is filled with beautiful regions, towns, the mountains, and the forests. Various desolate regions exist where clearly goblins, Easterlings, etc. have sacked and the locals have abandoned, and we've got honestly a brilliant landscape of Middle-earth with unique locations and stunning character models. Of course, we also have just a fantastic looking UI with a really metallic and earthy feel to Erebor. I'm not sure if this is different for every faction, but I imagine it will be if it isn't already. And Erebor, with pretty much all the UI complete, has some awesome follower and trait art, faction character portraits, the building trees, and of course the event message artworks as well, all of which together paints a stunning immersive experience for this faction alone. But it's not just the visuals, guys. Everything mechanical is here as well. And I really like the design decisions the mod team have gone ahead with. We've got alignment, which replaces religion, basically meaning your faction is either good or evil, with no way to convert, by the way, and depending on agent actions, events, character traits, or going down the story events of the War of the Ring, you gain or lose points towards the alignment you start with. As Erebor, you naturally are inclined towards the will of the West, supporting the war against Mordor and its allies. Therefore, for example, when you conquer towns and cities from your most immediate enemy, Gundabad, you'll have to spend some time converting those populations to the will of the West, towards goodness, for better income, better public order, etc. But if Gundabad in the meantime sends agents to Erebor to sow doubt, you may have corruption and shadow spreading in your kingdoms. Alignment in this way is just so fitting to this setting and is a fun concept compared to just straight up vanilla religion. Now, I know I mentioned public order, but actually now we have militancy, which replaces this. And I am a big fan of this one because, let's face it, public order is usually just really quite easy to manage if you know what you're doing, but in Dawnless Days, militancy is actually really tough. It's essentially your local population's willingness to fight and support your wars. If militancy is in the negative, people will become ignorant of your needs. Recruitment will be nigh impossible and replenishment will be stagnant, but with positive militancy, of course, the opposite is true. High recruitment, high replenishment, so it's really quite intuitive and really impactful. What's awesome about it, though, is things like an enemy army invading a region will increase militancy because the population wants to defend itself. But if militancy, for example, hits -100, you'll get a small enemy army spawning into the region, what the mod calls incursions, that will raid, sack, and loot and take your towns. It's really quite clever. Finally, and my favorite, is Resolve, which completely replaces Sanitation, and thank God for that. Resolve is essentially like militancy, but it affects economic output rather than the military. So if an enemy army invades your region, Resolve will plummet, and your economic output with it. But as I said, with militancy being high, it makes sense because people aren't working and mining, they're taking up arms to defend themselves. High Resolve means people are hopeful and work harder towards better income, happiness, buildings that function and operate efficiently, and low resolve is called despair. When your land is being raided, when a city is under siege or buildings are damaged, people will stop working and therefore income flow will stop. When you think about it, it's really a genius system. It breaks up public order into two different elements and gives the player more opportunities to engage with them. Now, alignment, militancy, and resolve, these are mechanics that every single faction will have access to, as well as unique followers which replace ancillaries, traits which are just beautifully done. But Erebor also has a mechanic completely unique to them, and that is greed. Yes, dwarves are greedy, and what the team has done to represent that is sublime. Greed replaces the political balance bar, as you see here, with each level of greed which can increase or decrease depending on event choices that you make or political actions you do, gives you a larger output of industrial income, some stat buffs like melee attack and defense, but also comes with some malices like increased influence of the power of shadow, increasing risk of negative events, and lower militancy. So it's very much a double-edged sword. It's a brilliant approach to the mechanic by the dev team and gives you the choice of not engaging with it at all and being quite pacifist and quite economically protective, or getting into sticky economic situations where you have to get a little bit greedy. So in my 50 turns with Erebor, how do things actually play? What was my experience? Honestly, it's an extremely immersive, fun time. Your starting province is a hell of an economic powerhouse, which makes sense, of course. You're the dwarves. Your chain of command is filled with generals with great positive traits, as well as Gimli, of course, which is I just love. Sending out King Dane with a massive high-tier army to quash Gundabad settlement by settlement to reclaim lost Dwarven strongholds is just so much fun, and tiptoeing into greedy decisions here and there while risky is extremely rewarding. I like that certain vanilla mechanics like army integrity and sanitation have been removed. I like that campaign army movement has been reduced, and darn it, I keep finding myself appreciating the beautiful 2D artwork that's gone into the UI. Like, it is so impressive, and I equally keep checking myself in awe at the scale of this campaign map. I eventually got too curious and sent a scout down towards some Easterling factions further south, and then roleplayed the scout to sneak into Mordor and get a closer look at Barad-dûr. And I mean, that journey alone was rewarding in and of itself, which is just such a cool feeling. And I mean, we have to appreciate the fact that Barad-dûr looks so good on the campaign map, and it's a great precursor to the kind of unique objects and cities that we're going to be able to see throughout all of this incredible Middle-earth map. What I also like is that the mod comes with a new 12-9 building slot system. So capitals will have 12 building slots and towns will have 9, which is really great because the building tree is so full of different types of buildings, and mechanics like militancy, income, or food production really need a lot of effort and investment to keep at a high level and maintain. So more building slots is so necessary. This all helps to create specialized provinces as well. Erebor became both an income driver for me and a recruitment center, while for a dozen or so turns after I conquered Ered Mithrin, I was struggling with resolve, food, income, everything. Like, the building tree is so well tailored to help you with your challenges, to build up your huge cities, and together with time, you need to research new technology in the tech tree to unlock higher tier buildings that you desperately need. It's just all really well designed. I eventually got my first faction mission to take back the Dwaro-Delph, or Khazad-dûm, and basically reclaim Durin's tomb, which is just an amazing first mission, by the way. And so King Dane, with a nice powerful army I'd been building up over a few dozen turns, tier 2, tier 3 units mixed in with some really powerful frontline troops, set out to destroy goblin settlements and strongholds to finally arrive and retake Khazad-dûm. Granted, though, I think the garrison army should probably be a little bit bigger, later, it was still really fun to play and get into. This kind of mixed sandbox and storyline style gameplay offers plenty of opportunities to discover and play out excellent story missions, as well as sandbox style build up armies, manage the kingdom, and go to war to destroy mortal enemies like Gundabad and the goblins. It's really great campaign design, and that means it's really great fun. As I said, I've only played about 50 turns so far. I haven't been able to get into the story too much, but as it is, you really feel campaign gameplay that has so much scope and scale. I have to say that the foundation of the Dawnless Days campaign is well and truly here. Overall, I would say that this is still very much a work in progress, and you can feel it. What I mean by that exactly is since the campaign map was complete enough to start getting factions, mechanics all in, which was about April 2023 last year, by the way, the team has developed a solid, enjoyable foundation. The next step is going to bring the campaign depth, challenge, and do a lot of the balancing and polishing that is needed here. I played on normal, so maybe higher difficulties are a little different, but everything you see here is the implementation phase of development. The team hasn't really started on campaign balancing, on tweaking and polishing various stats, mechanical functionality. That is the next natural step in the process. But what has been done here is really, really great. And honestly, I can't help but appreciate the enormity of what's been achieved here. A completely custom campaign map on Attila that is visually stunning, brilliant new mechanics that fit the setting and are well designed, and a balance of story, sandbox, immersion, and fun that I think the team should be proud of. Finally, Dawnless Days needs your help. Everything here has only been possible through the sheer commitment and effort of a few individuals across campaign building, 2D and 3D artwork, description writing. It's all a massive effort to do this, and the more help they get, the faster progress will be made. So I implore you, if you have the experience with UI design, 3D art, or level design, or if you have past experience to be a game tester on the mod, and you have the time, of course, to do any of this, please get in touch with the team. You can do that by joining the Discord link I've dropped below in the video description, and check out the hashtag recruitment channel to find open roles to apply to. The more support we give the team, the faster the mod is developed, so seriously, consider getting in there, even if it's just a few hours a week. I'm sure the developers would really appreciate it. And that's it for today, guys. Thank you for watching this video, and thank you to the Dawnless Days team for giving me the chance to test this campaign, to play as Erebor, and appreciate all the work that you've done thus far and allowing me to make this video. I really hope you enjoyed it and found it informative. If you did, give it a like and drop any thoughts or questions in the comment section below. What do you think of the Dawnless Days campaign so far? Subscribe for more videos just like this, going into all the developmental progress on new factions and their gameplay progress, and other Total War content and mod spotlights just like this. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.